that everyone's ready. So thanks everyone for joining us today. It's actually kind of our first of this series of those virtual interviews and virtual talks because usually we have that in our office, but it turns out that you were living a bit too far to come to our office. Or at least the setup might be a bit challenging, so we decided to do this remotely. I find it really exciting to have that conversation because we had a couple of conversations with one of your colleague and I think friend as well in San Francisco. A couple of
more than a couple now, a few months ago.
Yeah, it's more than a couple of months. And then we have the chance to really discuss. I was really impressed by your journey, going from France, then having your company acquired, and going in the US, working in big firm, and also demystifying a bit everything that is behind in terms of product practice and others. So I'm really excited to hear your talk today. So stage is yours. I'll let you start the conversation. For everyone who are new into those setups, it will be always the same. So Nicolas will present his talk. If I will give his talk, after that I'll start chatting and I will asking you questions, Nicolas. But in the meantime, probably some people will leave questions, so I will integrate their questions into our conversation so that we'll try to answer everything.
Perfect.
And I will see where that leads us.
Thanks, Timothée, and thanks for having me, and welcome everyone. So, indeed, I'm Nicolas. I'm Senior Director Product now at Adobe. If we can start the presentation. Yes. So today I'm going to talk about how we created 2 products with 2 different teams, and we won 2 awards. And so it's a look at what are the common practices that allowed to make this happen. So a bit about me first. So I'm Senior Director Product for 3D at Adobe, and I have 20 years experience in product for creatives in the 3D space. And so, as I said, we won 2 awards, one with a product called Substance Painter, and we won a Technical Emmy Award in 2024 for the impact that this product had on the industry, the film industry. And we won an Academy Award, so an Oscar, for Substance Designer in 2023 for the impact this product had on the movie industry. Substance, those are some products for texturing. So a texture is the material, the look, how a 3D object looks. And we're present in 3 business. The first one is video games, which is where we started. And today, 99.9% of 3D video games, all the texturing is done with Substance. So you can think Fortnite, Call of Duty, Mario, Zelda, FIFA. I mean, all those games, GTA, are using Substance for the texturing. The movies, every VFX today is using Substance as well, meaning every movies that is nominated to the Oscars in the last 5 years have been heavily using Substance. So here we have an example with Dune. And the last part is the physical goods, which is actually the biggest part of our business, which is most of the physical goods are now designed in 3D before going to the prototype phase. And so you can have an example with Scotch here. So all the texturing, all the way how this bag looks, but you can think, I mean, almost every physical goods that you have at home, whether it's clothes, it's a phone, some speakers, things like this, are using Substance at some point. So a bit about the journey. So Allegorithmic, which was the name of the company, was created in 2003 by someone called Sébastien Deguy in Clermont-Ferrand, so right in the center of France. This is where is the headquarters of Michelin as well, for those who know. During 10 years, a bit less than 10 years, up to 2010, the company was really trying to survive. It tried a lot of things, but it never, it was a startup. There was not really any product, and it was about surviving month after month. In 2010, I joined the company as well, just before launching our first product that was called Substance. Substance Designer, it was. For a few more years, but to 2013, we were still trying to survive. We didn't have any real product market fit. We were trying things every month, launching new features and so on until we figured it out. And in 2013, we found a product market fit. So I will go a bit more later about it in the slides. But so you can see it took 10 years for the company between 2003 and 2013 before finding product market fit. Between 2013 and 2019, we continued growing following this product market fit, and we became a leader in texturing in game and VFX. So by 2019, we were used really in every video game, and we are starting to be used in the VFX industry. And we got acquired by Adobe. And so Adobe created 3D divisions by acquiring us. And since 2019, we expanded to other industries, so mostly in movies and in physical goods. And we grew the business by 10. And so now we are beyond the $100 million of revenue. And I think we were at $8 million when we got acquired in 2019. And so in 2023, we won an Academy Award. And in 2024, we won a technical award. So those are our two products that we did with two different teams that won 2 awards. And I like to talk about it because you will see that the journey of those products are completely different, but it's not common yet to have success to win 2 awards with 2 different teams on 2 different products. And there are some common things that we did, and so that can be replicated on in other company and another product. So Substance Designer, as I said, it took 10 years to find product market fit between 2003 to 2013. And it's a very complex product. I mean, you can just see the way how it looks. It's a graph with some nodes and so on. And the other one is Substance Painter, which is a product we launched in 2014. And actually, it found product market fit 1 year after. So it went really fast. It's kind of the Photoshop of 3D. And it won an Emmy Award in 2024. What's not on the slide, but is interesting as well, is that I think those are some of the youngest products to win such awards. Usually to win a technical Emmy or a technical Oscar, it takes 20, 35 years. So this is what people have in mind in general, and for us, so it took 13 years for Substance Designer and 10 years for Substance Painter. So although it seems long when you're working on it, it's actually quite young products in the industry. So I'll talk about the main characteristics about the way how we approached building those products. And there are 4 main characteristics. The first one is that we were building product teams versus aggregating functions. The second one is how we built customer empathy for those products. The third point is how we developed product sense. And the last point is how we had bias for business, because it's very important when at least I feel that when we are developing products, we always have to think about the business impact it will have. So the first is building team versus aggregating functions. Aggregating functions, it's what happens in most of the biggest company, usually, which is, we need to create a new product. So let's add developers, let's add some PM, let's add some design. And, there's a head of product who decides who will be the PMs, there's the head of design who decides who is the designers, the head of engineering is deciding who are the developers, and there's no real cohesion. Everybody is kind of working in silo with their own budget, their own planning, their own process. And usually those teams are told what to do, meaning there's a VP higher in the company who says, okay, for this quarter, we need to hit this, or, I heard about this feature and it would be great if you develop it. And it's teams just feature team executing what they're told to do. While the difference when we talk about building teams is focus on the skills needed. It's totally fine to not have a designer or to not have a PM in those teams. Like on those 2 products, so designer and painter, we didn't have any designer actually before 2018. So you see, we launched the product in 2010. I think the first designer joined in 2018 after we already had product market fit. In the same way, I was the sole PM at the beginning for years, and I was really relying on engineers to help me do the job there. So we were really focusing on the skills. The interpersonal connections with long-lasting members. The first employees, actually, the first 5 employees who joined Algorithmic in 2003, 2004 are still with us. And the first employee is actually the one who is behind the technology of Substance and is still there. And so we have a retention of 99%. We have 1 and less employee per year who is leaving. And it's still the case after we got acquired by Adobe. So the long-lasting connection, the way how you create teams, you go to fight together, you fight problems together, you endure things, and this is what really creates team and what helps you to go further. And the last point that was really important is that we empowered the team to achieve outcomes, meaning we were not telling them, hey, do this feature, what we were telling them is, here is the problem we have to solve. And those problems were either for users, like, okay, these users have this problem, how would you approach it? But as well in terms of business, it was when we were a startup, we need to hit this revenue in 3 months. How can we do it? What type of feature do you think we should do? What type of business model we should change? Like, how can we achieve this type of revenue in the next 3 to 6 months? And we were letting the team really come with their ideas. And so empowering them for outcome really, really change things. And it's building teams versus aggregating functions. It's something we were doing when we were a startup at Algorithmic, but what we continued to do when we enjoyed Adobe after. It's, to me, the most critical aspect of creating successful products. The second point is how to build customer empathy. So it's something that seems obvious. Every product team says, yeah, we're talking to customers. One thing that we did on our case was, instead of hiring what I would call a professional PM, meaning hiring, someone who went to a business school and who was trained about, who learned all the frameworks about being PM and so on, is that I was hired as the first PM, but then I hired artists and I coached them into learning the PM skills. I did this because artists were the end user we were targeting with our product. And so I thought it was easier to start from them. They knew what to do. They understand the product. They understand what problems we were solving. And then I could teach them on how to influence engineers, how to make presentations, how to prioritize the backlog, like all the hard skills of being a PM. But that's, to me, up to today, that remains one of the most important things, which is I prefer to hire PM who have a deep empathy for customers and teaching them all the skills of being a good PM, rather than hiring a PM and teaching them the space. We partnered with one key customer. At the time, it was Naughty Dog, so who is doing the games like Uncharted and The Last of Us, to develop each product up to a point that was we embedded one PM, so who came to Los Angeles really and was living there and was on a daily basis in the studio with customers. And we did this for free. It was our way for us to learn, and so every day this person spent the day with Naughty Dog, and in the evening was communicating with the teams in France, and we were iterating like this for several months. But this is really what helped us to find the market fit. So being really, really close to customers. And the last point is that one of our secret sauce as well is that the support team were embedded directly in the product team, meaning we didn't have any product function. It's the product team by themselves who receive the bug and who answer to customer. And it's still the case today at Adobe, meaning when we were acquired, there is a support function at Adobe, but we decided to keep it as part of the product team. So meaning the product team, each members, whether it's engineers, artists, PM, spend some time on a daily basis to answer customer. And one of the great benefit of this is that it keeps you close to the community. And when there are problems, it's the fastest way to have them solved. Like when the product team receive directly a lot of bugs, a lot of crashes, a lot of problems on a daily basis, you can be sure that it will be fixed quickly. Like they don't like to hear, okay, this is not working, this is not working, so directly to them. While when it's in a support team, usually the product team gets disconnected from this and they don't really hear what's going on. So having engineers go directly and answer to customers for us was a great way to build customer empathy. Another point was how we developed product sense. So what I call product sense, I like the definition from Shreyas Doshi. Maybe you know him, he's very famous in the world of PM. It's the ability to take the right decision even in ambiguity and absence of data. And in our case, the fact that we had been for now it's been more than 20 years in the field, but when we launched, when we found the product market fit for Substance Designer, it had been 10 years already. So it develops an instinct, like the fact of on a daily basis talking to customers helped us take the good decisions. And two of the best decisions we took for this that were at the time very controversial and going against the trend of the industry was the first one was to split Substance Designer and Substance Painter into two distinct products. At the time, everything in the world of 3D was in one big product. It's called the DCC tool. Maybe you know 3ds Max or Maya, where you can do everything in it, and those are very complex products. And we started like this, meaning we first made Substance Designer, and then we thought Substance Painter would be a module for it. And 1 month before the launch, we decided to split it into between two products, two different products. It was based mostly on our guts, and it's actually the best decision we ever made because it allowed Substance Painter to find a way bigger audience than what it would have. It would have had remained one single product. And the second thing is as well, we developed new business model. So first, we were some of the first products to be present on Steam in 2013. So Steam is the biggest platform for video games in the world. And we were the first one to offer software on this platform in 2012. Yeah, we were the first in the world of 3D to offer some subscriptions in a very specific way. It was called the rent to own. So you were paying on a monthly basis, and after 1 year, you could keep the product. And the same, we had a business model that was freelance versus enterprise, rather than doing some light product for freelancers. Or indeed, what we did was we gave the same product to everybody with exactly the same features. But if you were an enterprise, you had to pay more. And we justify this saying it's like taxes. So enterprise were paying more, and if you were doing less than 100,000 of revenue, you could have the freelance version, but it was absolutely exactly the same version. There was no specific enterprise feature or whatever. It was really based on the business model. And we had to change this a few years ago, but for almost 10 years, it worked really well. And as I said, the last point was really the bias for business. It's when you're a startup, it helps you. I mean, you have to survive. You have to think at the end of every month, okay, how am I going to pay the teams? And it really helps to focus on what helps to move the needle. And that's why I think really constraints helps the creativity, and having the constraint of we need to pay the teams is the best way when you create your roadmap to figure out what to do. We come with lots of ideas, but thinking, okay, but what is the one that will really help to pay the team? If you have to make one bet, what will make that customers will buy the product? And this bias for business, when you're a startup, really, really helps you to grow. And you, from my experience, you usually kind of lose it when you go in a big company because there is not the same pressure anymore. Like if a feature doesn't move the middle, if you want to postpone a release, it's okay in big companies. When you're a startup, it's not okay. And so having this business survival instinct is very, very important. And is really the job of PM. It's not about just doing the best features. It's doing the best feature in a way that will help to develop business. So that's it for the presentation. What's interesting in my point of view is that while I went through all this journey, it was all based on instincts and learning. And 2 years ago, I discovered someone called Marty Kagan, who is pretty famous in the US. He created a program called the Silicon Valley Product Group, and he wrote several books. And one of them is called Empowered. And actually, he studied most of the successful companies, product companies in the US. So, Amazon, Apple, Google, and so on. And what he found out was that there are certain things, certain themes between those companies that are always present. They always have a different culture, they always have different products, but there is always something that is some main characteristic in all those teams. And it's actually the same that the one I explained before. And so I found this very, very interesting. So I would really encourage you to read this book. So thank you. And if you have questions, indeed, you can ask them in the comments.
Yes, that's a good point. Please leave your
can't hear you, Timothée.
Sorry.
Maybe it's me.
I don't know. I can hear you.
I will just come back here.
Sorry, that's the technical glitch and the issue while doing live streams. So now we have my beautiful face in front of your screen. Please don't leave. Nicolas will come back.
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me now. And I can hear
Great. You. That was fast. Because I was a bit stressed. I'm like, oh my God, everyone will leave because they'll just see my face. No, Nicolas is there. Great. As we were just saying, you can leave comments on LinkedIn in live stream or in any platform in the link that you received. We'll see those comments and we'll try to answer all of them. And if you don't have any idea, don't worry. I have plenty of ideas because I took a lot of notes during things. So Nicolas, I'll be honest, the content is so good, it's so dense that I don't know where to start. So I'll just jump with the first questions without really logical orders, and we'll see how we navigate through that. The one thing is that we discussed that a bit in our previous talks. How you've been there for a long time, and you went from a very small startup, struggling in France, to working for a big corp. But looking backwards, when you see on your product practice and the way things are organized and your teams are organized today, and compared to how they were a couple of years ago, what are the main change that you've seen?
Just a couple of years ago or 10 years ago?
I'll let you just what is the most meaningful part.
The thing is that, we went from having no product function. I was not even hired as PM. I was hired as a chief operating officer, COO. So we didn't, at the time in 2010, we didn't know what was a PM. And I remember in 2013, so 3 years after I was hired, I read an article about the job of a PM, and I sent it to my boss, so the CEO of the company. I said, hey, I think that what I'm actually doing now is closer to being a PM rather than a project manager. So can I change title? And he was, yeah, sure, go on. And so I officially became in charge of product management in 2013, but still I was the only one in the company. And then I said, as we grew, we saw the need to scale, and I needed help. And so this is when I started to take some artists that were in the company and coaching them, but they didn't see themselves as PM. And so this is one of the most important learning for me, is that you don't need to be a PM to do the job. You don't need to have a title to do the job of a PM. And usually when people are asking me, okay, how can I start to be a PM? I'm telling them, but just do the job. The title will come after. It's if you care about customer, if you help bring clarity for the team and the business, start there. It's the best way. And the thing that changed over the year is that we got way more structured, way more. I mean, I wouldn't say professional, but structured. It's now I know way more about what the industry is looking for in PMs, how to coach them, how to help them grow, all those kind of things.
That's great. Can you tell me a bit more about the size of the product organization now?
So now the whole 3D category at Adobe is around, if we count engineer, PM, design, it's around 250 people. The product, so we have 150 engineers. We have around 20 PM. And then we have some what we call QA artists. So there are artists who are doing the support, but as well kind of some, and they are in the PM org because they are doing some job of PM as well. Overall, my product organization, I have 40 people in it. So counting PM, artists, support.
Excellent. And then you were talking about 2 products. How is it organized? Do you still only have 2 products, or
we have more now? Now we have an ecosystem. So we have 4 desktop products. So there are the 2 that I showed, Painter and Designer, which are mostly for video games, but we have 2 other ones which are more going on the physical goods side. And then we have some web services and some API for enterprise, so automation products and so on. So now it's a full ecosystem, yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned something, say, okay, you struggled to find the product market with the first product.
Yeah.
Then the second product was a year. Now we have 4 products. How did it evolve to go from 1 product at a time? The second, it was a big success quite immediately.
It's very interesting because so the first one for 10 years, indeed, we struggled. And, when we found market fit, we were super happy. And then we launched the second one, and after 1 year, it works. Like, it was really booming. I mean, for us, at least, it was booming. And we thought, okay, we know how to make great product. Now everything will be successful. And so we launched more products, and it didn't work in the same way. It was a big, it taught us a lot of humility. We like the other product, we eventually found success, but not as much as with Substance Painter. And it took longer. It took one of the other one, it took, we launched it in 2000. We started to develop it 2018, and we found product market fit 2022, 2023. So 4 to 5 years. And the last one, in the current iteration, it's been 4 years, but there were some things before. So we have been at 7 to 8 years, before we found the really market fit. So we know that with Substance Painter, it's not common. We had luck. We had the right tech with the right product at the right timing. The market was ready for it. But that's not what happens every time.
When you look backward, okay, so it's always something that I discuss with people that are there from the early stage, and something that you express yourself. You were at the very beginning of this organization, so you knew everything, and you took a lot of time to acquire all this market and industry knowledge, which leading to build up a bit that product market, this product management sense, being able to also follow your intuition. But actually, it's not so much about intuition; it's about all the knowledge that you have acquired over time.
Yeah.
And what I see sometimes, I like to see if it's also true for you, is that people that are there think that actually everyone can do it. And then they tend to hire people and say, hey, I did it, and I could be able to follow my product sense, and I've been successful. Then they hire people, and then magic does not happen.
Yes. And you lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen it, actually. It's and it's something I try to tell the teams, that indeed the history of how you build the product is extremely important, and you should pay attention of not losing this history. And when we hire a new lead PM or a lead engineers, they come, with lots of ideas, and we'll change this and that, and we should try this, and always tell them, you should go and learn how the teams got there, why they took this decision, why this idea that you have maybe is great, but maybe they already tried it and it didn't work. And it's so learning the history of how the team got there, how the company got there. And I think it's one of the biggest problem in big companies is when, you know, there are reorg and you lose why, or people leave, like you lose why the product became successful in the first point. Like you lose the first member who knows the history of what happened, and it's and to me this remains the most important. And so when you have someone new coming in the team, yes, I mean I always tell them just go and learn what they did. Like it's how they came there, and then once you learn, you can bring your new ideas and you can build on top of this. But don't assume that because you come from a success, you are successful in your job in your other company or in your other companies, that people here are stupid and that you have better ideas. Like go and learn why it succeeded.
Yeah, that's great. And then I'll just touch upon a bit on the organization design and the structure. This first major event being acquired by a tech giant, because Adobe was already a huge when acquired. And still, can you tell us a bit more about how that happened and what has been the influence on the way you were structuring things and the way you organize?
But it happened. I mean, it happened because Adobe wanted to go in 3D, and so we were the right bet for them, and so we got acquired in 2019. What's very interesting and where Adobe was very, very smart is that we were small compared to Adobe, you know, at the time, and they put us in kind of incubation. So they created a new, rather than putting us in a big machine, they put us directly reporting to the CPO. So meaning the CEO of Algorithmic became VP of 3D and reporting to the CEO. So the structure of our company remains the same. And for 5 years, we remained in this configuration. So being able to develop the business without being crushed by the machine. And we were kind of protected. And it's one model that is now developed more and more in big companies. When they acquire a business and they don't want to, they want it to still grow, is you put them in incubation, you protect them. And so it's been great because we could rely on the Adobe machine and reach out to some enterprise and companies we would never be able to reach otherwise. But in the way how we develop product, we could remain outside of the big machine. No, we didn't have to make. I remember when I saw the other teams doing some 3 years planning and everything, and I was, whoa, I have no idea where we'll be in 6 months. So it's and hopefully it happens this way. And what's very interesting as well is that at this time in 2019, the whole 3D industry got concentrated, meaning a lot of startups were acquired by other big companies, and we are the only one that have not been destroyed and where the brands still remain. And so we're super proud about this. And one thing is that when we got acquired, a lot of our customers at the time were worried that that we would be destroyed, that the product would disappear, and we managed to keep the product, we managed to keep the brand. We're super. It was not easy, definitely, but we're super proud about this.
Yeah, and after those 5 years, then they ask you to play a bit more the.
Yes, there's been, reorgs, and the business is way bigger now. We learned how the process works, and so now we're part of the big Adobe machine. Yeah, it's meaning we have the same marketing team, the same sales team, the same process, and the rest.
Have you been in impact and efficiency thanks to that?
A bit in some ways. We are definitely less agile. There are, you have to provide plannings, and we have to, but the benefit is as well we're relying on the big machine. So in terms of business, the business is growing way more than if we would have stayed by ourselves. And so the efficiency of the product team, yes, we're less agile, but on the other side, we can grow the business, and mean, we understand that there is some visibility that is needed in such companies to provide roadmaps in advance, planning, budget, all those kind of things.
And so you're saying that you have roughly 20 product managers? Yep. It's getting a bit significant, right?
Yeah.
How do you organize that?
It's a good question.
Well, you have only 4 products, you have 20 product teams.
So
how does that work?
So as I said, it's 4 products, but there is always some services and some API that we sell to customers and web services. But it's something I learned at Adobe. It's as well actually ship your org. Something I learned, when I joined Adobe. Okay, and I keep hearing it in big companies. In the US, it's very present. It's that ship your org, and it's following a principle which is no matter the way how you organize is the way how customers will see it. And there are some laws. There is a law called the law of Conway. I don't know if you know it. If you look at the website and you look at the way how the website is structured, it will reflect how the company is organized internally. And it's I believe the same in the product team. So I organize the team in the way how I want customers to see it. And meaning I have, as we're shipping an ecosystem of product, I have 1 lead PM per product. I have some people in charge of the ecosystem, so who are cross. And then in each product between the leads, some of them have as well some PMs reporting to them who are working on some specific parts of the product.
Okay. You were saying that your first product managers were actually artists.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions for you. Among all those first product managers that were artists, how many are still there? And among the 20 product managers that you have, which one do still have an artist background or a different background?
Very interesting question. All the PM are still there. It's been more than 10 years and none of them left. So I'm super proud about this, I have to say. One won an Oscar in his name, like for substance designer. So the lead PM won in his name. One won an Emmy in his name for substance painter as well. So it's not me in my name who won them. It's some people in my team. And it makes me even prouder, about it. Since then, indeed, I hired some PMs that come from a more traditional background, I would say. And so today we have a mix of artistic background and more business or engineering background. But they are all here, and it's still, I would say, 2/3 come from artistic background. Yeah.
Okay. And what have you put in place to keep on developing that product management practice and the craft?
Yeah. So something I learned at Adobe, actually, it's like when we were a startup, I was a manager, but I was more, focusing on I would say, making sure that my team had something to do rather than developing them personally. And it's something I discovered what coaching means by well-being at Adobe, what it means to be a coach for your team as well. So I got a coach, and for me, it was eyes-opening. And since then, I decided to really focus on coaching my team. So I spent the majority of my time on coaching my team. Meaning I try to have one-on-one, we call this like this in the US, every week of 1 hour with each of my PM. And I spend the majority of the time on trying to grow them and develop them. And so this is really what I focus on. I see what I often say, that my product now is my team. The product I have to take care of is my team, and I really try to grow them. And in big corporations, the way how promotions work, especially at the director level, you need to, you become what they call an executive, and you need to get approval from VPs or higher ups. And it's not me who decides who can become a director, basically. And you need to have recommendation, and so you have to spend a lot of time on helping those people for growing, on giving them the right visibility, putting them on the right track and the right product so that the right scope so that they're gonna grow and so on. And so it's I grew. Now I have 5 directors reporting to me, and I'm super proud about this. But yeah, coach, and I discovered that what I love the most actually in product management is coaching PM. It's one thing that is I love developing product. I mean, but coaching PM is I don't believe that I'm the best PM. I would say I'm I discovered that some of my PM have a way better product sense than me and have are way better at aligning stakeholders and all these kind of things. I'm not bad, but I'm definitely not the best. But I think what I like and where I'm probably not bad is coaching people and grow them. Yeah.
That's great. And on just a bit a question that we received on how have you seen the product management practice evolving over the recent years and maybe in the recent months with the emergence of AI? And does that have an impact on you?
So in the US, it's that's interesting because I think it's different between the US and Europe. The first thing is that when I was living in Europe, a lot of the product management, I mean, there is what we called a product owner in the agile practice, when you're developing software and so on. It almost doesn't exist in the US. Agile methodologies are not really present in the US. And so it's one of the big disconnects first I saw in the previous years. Like there is this difference in what product management do. In Europe, it's way more focused on delivery, while in the US, it's more focused on business, I would say. And now we can see with AI, there are a lot of AI PM in the US. Not sure what it really means, to be honest. I don't know what is an AI PM. I think it means a lot of things. But what I can say is that yes, AI is changing the way how we do things, but I believe that the core of our job, the core of our function is not changing, the why we're doing it. And up to now, engineers were mostly the bottleneck when we were creating product. I think PM are going to be the bottleneck right now. Or I would say people who can think about the why we're doing things and the what to build. It's this is really what matters. And so developing these skills, okay, what are the problems we want to solve, how we want to solve them, why we should do this, is going to be what matters the most. And that's very interesting.
And I have a question for you. Have you been in the recent year in a situation where like, damn, I'm missing developers?
Oh, always. I mean, yes and no. I would say it always happens that if we want to develop something, it's, hey, we want these features. Yeah, but we don't have engineers. But actually, I believe it's not good to have too many engineers. Creativity comes with constraints. And every company in the world has constraints. I mean, I don't know any company who can say, hey, we have enough developers to do everything we want to do. But it's good as well to create those constraints by yourself, meaning there is a size of a team, and it's something I didn't talk about it, but none of our product team are more than 10 developers. They're all smaller.
Huge.
Yeah, and but I mean it's a good size for us. And what we see is that adding an 11th developer is not gonna really change, not going to really change the business. It's not going to change our velocity. The more people you add, the more meetings, the more you need alignment, and so on. And so I'm really believing in having less developers or developers organized in different teams. But it's interesting because every year, at least at Adobe, we have this period. It's right now where we have to ask, okay, how many developers do you want to hire? How many people do you want to hire next year? And you see a lot of teams comes with, we need 50 more people. We need 100 more people. And well, to me, it always seems, I prefer to have the right people rather than a lot of people.
Yeah. I was asking you this because you pointed out right now with the AI technologies that are they are just mimicking behaviors, right? So
Yeah.
okay, you can code faster, great. Okay, you can query things a bit faster, or you can have pre-tuned elements. But ultimately, it's just mimicking existing behaviors or existing habits, and the change will come when we change completely the way we work, but we're not there yet. For now, we're just mimicking what we know how to do. But ultimately, the volume of code that you can pour on the market is actually increasing with those elements, not necessarily the quality, and the why we're doing things is the one that is most precious, most valuable. I've rarely seen indeed some companies that were where their failure or their ability to succeed was directly related to the amount of development capacity they had,
No,
because
never. It's it's a
it's
good
about the
point.
creativity and the constraints,
Yeah.
but ultimately it's about the value that you deliver. And if you deliver the value, then success comes. But it's rarely about the quantity.
Yeah.
And it's a trap. And I like Melissa Perry. If you write, she came back with the build, escaping the build trap, because
Yeah.
I see a lot of companies jumping and failing on that, and jumping and say, oh, let's do AI, and then they want to ship so much more features, but then ultimately, then what? You're just diluting your value with a lot of things that do not bring any value.
Exactly, and it goes back to what we were discussing about the history of the team as well. We
Mhm.
tried at some point to add more people inside our teams. When we were a startup, and we wanted to scale. We were okay. We'll add more engineers and we'll scale. And we saw quickly that it didn't work, and
Yeah.
so we changed our approach. And indeed, if you don't ask the team, if you come and say, "Hey, let's add more developers," the team will say, "Whoop, whoop, whoop." Like as they've been here for a long time and they're still all there, they will say, "No, we tried this and it didn't work." So unless something changed and you can explain us what, we'll not try. I mean, we we went there already.
And I want to go back to one thing that is always a bit itching me when because you're friends, huh? You're European, and you moved quite a long time now in the US, and I always hear those people having a biased view between what's happening in Europe in terms of product management practice, and
Yeah,
summarizing that what you were saying on the PO and the shipping code, and then the US
yeah.
focusing on the outcome. Whereas I have a completely different view. I do agree with you. There are some companies that are not doing good product management in Belgium and in Europe, but so they are in the US, and actually a lot.
Completely. No, it's more in the title themselves, I would say, and
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say that PM in the US focus on outcome. I say they were more focusing on business, which is different. It's just that in Europe we're product owners, I would say, are more focusing indeed on delivery. And in the US, when
Yeah.
you're a PM, the first thing we ask you is show me what is the size of the market and how much business we can do. And a lot of them actually never ship anything, to be honest. They're great at doing a lot of slides, and this is what we should do. And it's and there's a blend between. There is something I discovered in the US. It's product marketing manager as
Yeah.
well, and there is always a blend between those PMM, product marketing manager, and product managers. And okay, what's the difference? And in the US, there are as well the program
Yeah.
managers, which are
Yeah.
closer to the job of PO in Europe. And so the titles are different, but at the end of the day, it's indeed pretty close in terms of how we approach things. It's just the terms which are different, and when we stop at the just at the titles, it creates lots of tensions. I have to say, I saw some things that were no, but this is what a PM should do, and no, but I'm a PO, I'm not a PM. When we joined Adobe, most of our people at Algorithmic were at the title of product owner because they were proud of this. They loved Agile and they got certifications on. And they were saying, no, I don't want to be a PM. I'm a product owner. And we were but at the end of the day, yes, what matters is why we're doing it, what is the core of the job. And but I noticed that I guess it's the same in Europe. I didn't have this experience, but in the US, the job of PM is really different in every company. It's each company has a different approach, different way of what does it mean to be a PM.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good conclusion now, because we only have 5 minutes left. I've been doing transformation for quite some time now, and in all kind of organizations, like a very large enterprise, more monopolistic one as a TSO in Belgium, to startups and scale up. And I would say there are as many product organizations there are companies to have one.
Yeah.
Because there is one thing that is unique is the people that are there, because they work only there, assuming they're full-time, right?
Yeah.
And that company is unique by its CDN, its purpose, and its direction. And if there was a magical recipe, everyone would have already followed it. And the hard truth is that no one knows.
It's
there are some basic principles, right? And as we were saying, so the principles apply everywhere. Ensuring that you understand your customers, and ensuring that you know what you're doing, measuring and ensuring that you're learning from what you're doing, and iterating in small steps, and so on and so forth. Being customers obsessed, that's all right. But then when it comes to reorganizing yourself and materializing that, that's a variety a lot. And it's always funny because when you look at the companies that are the most successful worldwide, and if you look at the product management practice, if there is any, sometimes you would cry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely. It's an art. It's not a science. It's an art, and there is no as it's not a science, you can't predict things. It's what I always say to my teams and to the execs is, okay, if I would know if these things will be successful, I would go and play the lottery instead. If I can predict how much users are gonna use it, I'll find another job. Don't know. The only thing we can do is reduce uncertainty, and then it's all on the guts. It's like a sport. Yeah, you play soccer or you put two teams on the field. It's not always the best team who wins. It's not always the best tactic who wins. It's not, and it's the same with product. And what you can do along the years is indeed making that you are more often right than wrong. And
I like that one. Yeah.
That's what you build. Over time, it's I know more and more, and we're succeeding more than what we're failing.
Yeah, definitely. I always try to define product management as a risk mitigation process. You just want to mitigate the risk of being wrong in what you build.
It's risk mitigation, bringing clarity to the teams as well, where you're going, and it's and that's why I believe that we'll always need to be PM, even with AI, because you need context and you need feelings, and it's about people and how customers will react. And an AI is never gonna know this. It's just impossible. So
definitely, the context is the one thing that will always be missing. You can.
Yeah, it's
that's never gonna change. But I won't say never, because
no, but the context and people, because people have feelings and history, and they just they have emotions, and you have to take all of this into account. Like that's why Marty Kagan has a definition that says the role of product leaders is to create product customers love, yet in a way that helps business. And I love using the word love because, like in a love relationship, you can't make that two people will fall in love. Like, it's and you can't make it just happens. You can work for it, but you can't know for sure if it will work. And it's the same with product. You have to make your customers love your product. But it's not a science.
Definitely. I have always my favorite question for the end. What was the one question that you were expecting me to ask that I haven't asked yet?
Oh, wow. Maybe this one. No, I would say this one, actually. I don't have any. It's a good one, I have to say.
It's my favorite.
It's a really good one.
But maybe to help you a bit, is there anything that you would like to share, or maybe a small conclusion like to bring to our audience?
One thing I like to say actually is I've been very invested in the world of product management now, and I try on the side to coach PM and help people who want to become or grow as PM. And the thing I'm always sharing is it's a really hard job. Like, I mean, it's impossible to know how hard it is. It doesn't mean that it's harder than some other jobs, but it's really hard. It's a long reward career as well. It takes years really before, like when you are an engineer or a designer, you can see quickly, hey, I did this and it got impact. PM, I mean, it took 13 years before we got an award and we got some kind of recognition. But at the end of the day, it remains to me the most beautiful job. Like it's, so if you're a PM and your days are hard, yes, just know you're not alone. Find some mentors, find some people you can share this, because it's a very lonely job as well. It's something that, so find some other people and I think, the PM are not good at this, at creating community to be able to share best practice, to share how we feel. So try to find people for this so that you can sometimes just vent. I often call myself the chief venting officer to my team. I'm telling them, like, okay, I mean, you had a bad team with those engineers, they're not listening to you, these stakeholders, just come, you can vent with me, like, because I know how it is. I mean, it's been just so hard. So if you're going through hard time as a PM, just stick with it. It's that's the job. You're just learning it.
And always learn that everyone believes that their problems are unique, but ultimately.
Oh yeah, and it's not, as you said, in big companies, startup, wherever. There's nowhere a company where, hey, the product function work great and everybody listens to PM and everybody does just what we say. It does not exist.
Definitely. Thanks a lot, Nicolas.
Thanks a lot, Timothée.
I love the conversation. And definitely, maybe because you're saying that you've launched your coaching track. Do you still have slots? Do you still
definitely. You can go on my LinkedIn.
Good. So if you're interested, go on LinkedIn, follow Nicolas, reach out to him if you want to be coached. Nicolas is a great guy, as you have heard. Really love his spirit and 100% backing everything that you said today, Nicolas. Great. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, awesome. Timothée. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.